at the moment there is well over 4,000 ram lambs alone available via the ram search. And then there's an extra in excess of 1,500 hogget rams available, and that's on the lowland side. So there is definitely an adequate supply of rams out there, and we are making serious efforts to continue that. There is an adequate supply where we are in direct communication to producers as well.
Hello, I'm Kieran Lynch and welcome to OviCast, the Teagasc Sheep podcast. Each episode we bring you the latest insights, advice and technical updates for the sheep industry. Now, our ram sales on the way around the country. We're joined in this week's episode by Jaynell Anderson, Programme Manager with Sheep Ireland, to discuss the SIS Genotype ram task. Jaynell gives us a recap on the requirements of the SIS ram task, both for hill and lowland flocks, how to identify eligible SIS rams in sales catalogues and using the ram search tool. We also discuss some of the frequently asked questions about the task. We finish up discussing ram supply this autumn, the upcoming multibreed sale in August, and the hill sale that's planned for later on this year. We start off with Jaynell discussing a busy couple of weeks ahead.
Yes, Kieran, it is surely. So the next few months will be a very busy time for farmers looking to buy rams for the breeding season. So some of the premier sales have kicked off already. Some of the earlier ones, like the Vendines, there in July. So I think the Texels now are coming up in the second week of August. And the Charlies and the Suffolks are done. So we're definitely in full swing, and we have our own sale there at the end of August as well.
Jaynell, you touched on it there, it's a big decision on farms. It's going to have a big influence on performance in next year and subsequent years, particularly if you produce the replacements from that ram. I suppose it's important to make use of the most up-to-date information that's available.
It is, and it is important to look at the Eurostars of your ewes, particularly, especially for the replacement ewes that you'd be selecting around this time of the year as well, and maybe even earlier. So it is important, all right, to keep an eye on the replacement side of the house as well when you're picking your replacement ewes. Mm-hmm.
Jaynell, just when we're talking about buying rams, the SIS Genotype ram task is something else to consider. A lot will have to purchase a ram this year. Maybe we'll just, for a bit of clarity, will you give a little bit of background of that task and what the requirements are?
Yes, so at the moment, Kieran, we are getting a lot of queries on the Genotyped ram task. So part of the SIS, the sheep improvement scheme that the department are running, one of the mandatory tasks is the Genotyped ram task. So this means that every farmer must purchase and use a Sheep Ireland genomically tested sire that's SIS eligible. And if you have up to 150 ewes in the flock, you need to purchase one in the first 3 years, and you have to select the year. And if you have over 150 ewes, then you must complete it a second time by year 5.
And what makes that ram SIS eligible?
So there's different criteria that the ram must meet. So it can't just be genotyped or genomically tested. It has to be a scrapie type 1, 2 or 3. And for the lowland flocks, it has to be a 4 or a 5 star on either the replacement or the terminal index. So one of the two main indexes. And then on the hill side of the house, then the ram themselves must be genotyped, and then the sire of that ram has to be genotyped. So it has to be sire verified through DNA. The lowland option is there also and is available for the hill flocks, but they need to be sure that when they're purchasing a hill or a lowland breed, that it's meeting the lowland breed criteria. So it has to be the 1, 2, 3 scrapie or the 4 or 5 star on the replacement or terminal.
Okay, so that is a subtle difference we might come back on. So I suppose, Jaynell, for a producer going out there buying a ram, look, this could be on farm, it could be at a sale. Maybe we take the sale option first. How do you know a ram is SIS eligible? What are they looking for?
So if there's a farmer at a ring and he's looking at a sales catalogue, there'll be a green SIS symbol there. So it'll say green SIS and it'll have a tick. Also, the farmer can check on our ram search. So he or she can go in and search the particular ram ID on the search ID feature and see there if the ram is SIS eligible.
Okay. And I suppose then it's important to prove an eligibility these days. That sales catalogue is important. That's why, maybe just for pure clarity, it's SIS eligible on the day of purchase.
It is, and that is something that has come up quite often here from the guys in the office taking queries. So it has to be eligible on the day of purchase. So you can't make a ram SIS eligible after purchase by genotyping him yourself. He has to be SIS eligible the day of purchase. And how you would prove that, so on your dispatch docket. The date will be on there of that you bought the ram, and then on the ram search, there's a feature there that you can use to insert the day of purchase, and it'll actually appear that on that day it was eligible.
Okay, and maybe just look, you mentioned ram search. For anyone that hasn't used it, if a simple Google Sheep Ireland ram search, maybe just give me the basics of how to go about that.
Yeah, so ram search really is the gold standard place to find SIS eligible rams. Now, I should also mention that they can also use the catalogue, so you should keep your catalogue as well for in case you are inspected, and that can be used as well. So with the ram search, you can find rams by either searching for a ram producer in your region or select the region, a particular breed, a particular age, whether it's a hogget or a lamb that you're looking for. So you can limit all these on the filter search. There's also a radio button there that you can use to basically, it just highlights SIS eligible rams. So again, it will appear with a green SIS eligible sign.
I suppose that's important. If you're buying on farm, you pick out the 2 or 3 lambs you like. You can search their tag number in it. If you've them picked.
Exactly. Yeah. You could actually you could use your phone so as well. So there is the ram search is phone friendly. So you can basically just go into Google, type in ram search, select that link, and in there then you can either search using the filters, or you can search by ID if there's a particular ram that you're trying to figure out if he's SAS eligible or not.
Maybe it's no harm just clarify there can be a little difference sometimes between the catalogue and the ram search. I suppose is the evaluations updated.
That is really important.
I suppose that's why it's important to keep the catalogue.
It is very important to keep the catalogue, because what can happen, particularly at Premier sales or any other sales that's going on around the country, is that sales catalogues are printed up to, can be up to 3-4 weeks before the sale actually happens. So what can happen in the meantime is that the ram himself might be waiting for a genotype result to come back, or waiting for a genomic valuation. So on the catalogue, it might be appearing as not SIS eligible, and it actually is. So it's important to use the ram search then on the day of purchase to see that. And also the vice versa. So it might say in the catalogue on the day of purchase that it is eligible, and it might have slightly dropped on one of the criterias. So that's important to keep the catalogue then to prove that on the day he was SAS eligible on the catalogue.
So once he's SAS in the catalogue, it's still okay, even though, it's dropped. Yeah. Look, maybe it's no harm to go through some of the other kind of frequently asked questions you probably get on this. So proven eligibility is the ram search, sales catalogue, dispatch docket. You can always go back and check. I suppose the other one is the genotype one, probably more for the hill farms. Is it the only criteria? And I know you touched on this if they're buying a lowland ram.
Yeah, so that is something that's coming up quite frequently. No, the ram himself cannot be just genotyped. He has to be sire verified through DNA, which means that he needs a DNA sample taken as well as his sire, and they also need to match. So often what can happen if a ram team is not genotyped, to get that matched sire, it can be difficult. So we would encourage all producers to genotype all the ram team at the breeding season, to ensure that when the lambs are being born on the ground, that when you're genotyping them, that when a sire mismatch comes back, which can happen just with human error, that we can find the right sire for that ram.
And they have to be the scrapie genotype 1, 2 or 3.
Exactly, and the scrapie type 1, 2 or 3.
Okay. So in terms of genotyping, I suppose another one you could get asked, if you have a ram on the farm, could you genotype him? If he was 4 or 5 star, could you genotype him yourself? Or would he be eligible?
No, yeah, and that is something that's still coming up. Even last year when it first launched, we were taking a lot of calls on that. No, unfortunately, as a term and condition set out in the scheme by the department, you need to purchase a ram SAS eligible. You can't actually make them SIS eligible after you've purchased them.
It's one of the criteria. It has to be an expense going out. For producers that are breeding rams, suppose, look, if the genotype comes back today and it's still not coming up as eligible just at the moment, I suppose, there's a kind of a deadline and maybe there's buyers coming to the yard.
Yes, that is really important, Kieran, because what can happen is a genotype has been taken, a DNA sample has been taken from the ram lamb. It's so important to go and do this early in the season, because what can happen is rams are entered into catalogues or into sales, and there's no results back. So it has to, when the result comes back, the genotype can take up to 4 weeks for the result to come back. Now that has that window has gotten a little tighter. So it can be 2 to 3 weeks, but we say up to 4 weeks because what can happen is a ram might need to be resampled if the quality of the sample taken initially was not good enough for the lab to determine what the genotype is of that animal. And also, when the result comes back, so there has to be a genomic evaluation. So that has to feed into the weekly routine evaluations that we run here at Sheep Ireland. And until that routine evaluation is ran after the genotype has come back, it will not get the SIS symbol. So it's important to note that for any breeders.
Okay, so maybe to go back to some of the basics, and look, this one can cause a bit of confusion as well. The ram doesn't have to be 5 stars in both index, so it's not a double 5-star ram.
No. That is a kind of a misconception. All right, there it can be 4 or 5 in either the replacement or the terminal. It doesn't have to be just 5 on both. So that is something that has come up.
It could be a 4-star terminal, 1-star replacement, but it's still
exactly
obviously
as long as it's, yeah, 4 or 5 star on either the terminal or replacement, and it doesn't, if it's 4-star on replacement or 4-star on terminal, it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2 on the other, and it depends on what the ram is being bought for as well, Kieran.
Of course. I suppose the other one that comes up then is it just has to be eligible on the day of purchase. Look, obviously indexes can change, so it's the day of purchase is the key one there.
Yeah, the day of purchase. So often what can happen is their rams can be on a borderline 3 to 4 star. So for the 4-star, it could be just slightly over getting that 4-star, so it's in the top 40%. So it needs to be, what can happen is as more information comes in, it can come back a little bit or come down in the ranking slightly, which might just ever so slightly put in the upper half of the ranking for the 3-star, but that is fine. So if you purchase a ram as SIS eligible and he falls slightly behind and goes, the SIS eligibility status comes off him, as long as you can prove that the day of purchase he was SIS eligible on that day.
And look, you touched on this one already, but maybe no harm to go back and, like, for hill farmers there, they don't only have to buy a hill breed. Of course they can if there's an eligible one there, but they don't only have to buy a hill breed.
No, and often they do tend to buy a lowland breed, surely. So, like, as long as that lowland breed that they're buying is meeting the lowland criteria, so the 4 or 5-star, the scrapey 1, 2, or 3, and the genomic evaluation, as long as it's meeting those criteria and it's SAS eligible, a hill farmer can purchase a lowland to satisfy the requirements of the scheme.
Okay. Look, in terms of supply, this often comes up. I suppose the key thing we'll always try, Jaynell, is it's important to get out and buy early. Not only get an SAS ram, but get them in on your farm, get them settled in early. It's good practice. Yeah. But just in terms of availability this year, I know you look at some of the figures of what's in the database. What does it look like?
So there's definitely an adequate supply of rams. So there is a surplus of lowland rams there for the hill guys as well. So, at the moment there is well over 4,000 ram lambs alone available via the ram search. And then there's an extra in excess of 1,500 hogget rams available, and that's on the lowland side. So there is definitely an adequate supply of rams out there, and we are making serious efforts to continue that. There is an adequate supply where we are in direct communication to producers as well.
And I suppose on the hill ram side, like, there's been a huge amount of work done by the various breeding groups around the country over the last couple of years, really. So there has in getting rams recorded.
There has, yes.
How do the numbers stack up on that side?
There's been serious efforts being made there by the hill producers, particularly in the hill producer groups. So David Cohen, who's leading our hill development side here at Sheep Ireland, he to date he's done 13 DNA collection days, and that's available to all the hill groups. And so basically there's been huge numbers coming out there to ensure that there's going to be an adequate supply of those hill breeds there as well. And they've been working very closely with us over the last coming up now on 2 years with those DNA collection days. And, you know, at the moment, there is a lot of hill breeders contacting us directly. So we're taking everything from physical paper forms to get these rams created, get them genotyped, all in good time. So you did mention about getting out and buying early. It's kind of like any other breeding season, no matter if it was a scheme there or not. It's really important to get out early in the season when the resources there is plentiful and there's plenty of choice. There should be an SIS eligible ram out there for every farmer that meets both the physical needs, the physical correctness, and meets or satisfies the task requirement as well.
Just in terms of ram availability, look, you're running your multi-breed sale again this year. When's that happening?
So our sale is happening on so it's same as always, the fourth Saturday of August. So this year it's the 24th of August, and it's starting there around 11:30 in Tullamore Mart. So the entries are currently now open. They're closing on the 12th. So we're expecting in around maybe over 500 ram entries. Currently we have just over 90 entries so far. And there should be a breed there for every need. So we're expecting 10 plus breeds. That's what was there last year. So we're expecting more variation in breeds there as well. And they're all going to be SIS eligible. They're going to be parentage DNA verified. They're going to be physically inspected upon arrival. So any physically incorrect rams will not be in the sale. And the catalogue for this sale should be available online on the 20th of August. So then again, as always, we have the online bidding available, and that's through SL auctions. And there should be a ram there that meets everybody's needs, and they're going to be all SAS eligible as well.
Huge selection, massive sale actually. So it is, but like you have a crossbreed, so there's a great selection for anybody looking. I suppose one new development, Jaynell, and I suppose some of this is still in the pipeline. It's a reflection of work over the last couple of years with the hill groups. You're hoping to have a hill group sale as well.
Yes, we are, Shirley. So this will be this is something that we were hoping to run really to encourage the breeding groups to continue doing the excellent work that they're doing, you know, and all the efforts that's being made. So we're running a hill sale there up in Manorhampton Mart. It's on Friday the 11th of October. So so it'll be new territory for running it, because the Tullamore sale is mainly lowland breeds. So the hill sale is going to be specific for those hill breeding groups that have done all the work over the last number of years to ensure that there is an adequate supply of these SIS eligible rams for commercial farmers out there.
Good development, Jaynell. So listen, appreciate you coming on. Thanks for that update. Certainly timely.
Thanks very much, Kieran. Take care now.
I'll leave it there for this week's episode. I have included a link in the show notes to the ram search tool on the Sheep Ireland website. It's a useful reference as Jaynell has highlighted to either find rams or check ram eligibility. That's it for me for this episode. For updates on our sheep programme, keep an eye on our Twitter page at Teagasc Sheep. I'm Kieran Lynch. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us for more episodes.